This is the original car from the first Mad Max movie, a 74 Ford Falcon. This car has been all over the world, it's worth millions of dollars, and is now just sitting here at the Orlando Auto Museum. This isn't the only treasure at this place though, so join me today for this episode of Matt's Rad Show as we take a look at as many movie cars and cars of Hollywood that I can find at this amazing place. Dezerland Action Park, the Orlando Auto Museum. Thanks for clicking that button. Let's do this.
It's Hollywood Cars of the Stars! In this episode of Matt's Rad Show, we'll take you on a journey deep into the history, the glamour, and the beauty of the real heroes of Hollywood, the cars. Where else would the stars be if it wasn't for their cars? So sit back and relax and join us for a journey into the Orlando Auto Museum at Dezerland Action Park. This is Matt's Rad Show, and this is the Cars of the Stars. And Cars of Hollywood. You know, the ones that were like in the movies and stuff.
Okay, starting out here on the red carpet, we have some really unique builds by Hot Rod Hall of Fame legendary car builder Jay Ohrberg. This is a Bugs Bunny car that he did. It's 24 feet long and it's actually built from a 38 Volkswagen Beetle. Across the carpet here we have the "What the heck is that thing?" I believe it's called an automobile. It's a line from the movie. The movie League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. We have Captain Nemo's Nautilus car. I believe this is one of only 2 replicas that they made, so I don't think this one is screen used. But this one was made out of 2 '79 Cadillac Limos. It has 6 wheels as well. Kind of crazy. Sad fact about this movie, though, was that it was the last movie that Sean Connery ever did because I heard he had such a horrible time making it. I don't know why. It's a pretty cool movie. Spirit of Nemo on the license plate back there. An extraordinary automobile for sure. It is pretty cool how all 4 front tires actually turn up front there. Pretty cool to see this car in action. Really cool custom work on this thing. Crossing the carpet here again, we're going to go take a look at the Mystery Machine build real quick. This one was built off of a 1966 GMC G10 handy van. They did a really good job with this one. It looks cartoon correct to me. I love it. Whoa, Raggy. That's my Scooby-Doo impression. Cruising across the carpet here again, we have some more creations built by Jay Ohrberg. These cars toured the world to like 30 different countries or something before ending up here. This one created to honor the legendary James Dean, of course, modeled to replicate Dean's 55 Porsche 550 Spider, although of course this one's a lot bigger and more extravagant. But believe it or not, that's all steel work there. It's not fiberglass. It's a functioning vehicle too. It's kind of amazing. This next one, as you can see, was built to honor Marilyn Monroe. It's built on a 77 Cadillac, I believe, but of course it looks more like a 57 Cadillac. Marilyn draped over the front of it there. It's pretty cool how he has her dress flowing over the car and then becoming part of the tail fins in the back. It's kind of fun. Of course, these cars were meant to be a little extravagant, a little over the top, if you will. I can really appreciate the work that must have been put into these cars. And if you couldn't tell, we have an Elvis tribute car here. Of course, Elvis loved Cadillacs. I think there's something like 40 tribute pieces to Elvis built into this car alone. As you look at it, it's kind of fun to try and pick out all the different tributes to Elvis within the build itself. Not many car builders could pull off a build like this. That's pretty cool, pretty unique. Okay, we're going to go back over here and take a look at this pink 1968 Rolls Royce, a Fab 1 car from the British TV show Thunderbirds Are Go. It's a pretty unique car here for sure. Pretty fun build. What red carpet would be complete without a limousine? This one here is another J. Ohrberg special, the world's longest car. And that actually is backed up by the Guinness Book of World Records. The Orlando Auto Museum obtained this car and they had it restored. It actually works too. This car just keeps going and going and going. It has a hot tub in the back, a spot for hitting some golf balls, and of course, a helicopter pad. Because why not? Okay, now we're finally moving into the Cars of Hollywood display. Many of these cars are screen used, though there are some replicas in here as well. First off, we have the car from Miami Vice, a 1973 Ferrari Daytona, which the show actually converted two C3 Corvettes into the Ferraris, because the actual Ferraris were just too expensive and hard to obtain for the show. This car was featured pretty prevalent in the first two seasons, which, if you've never seen the original first episode of Miami Vice, do yourself a favor and go watch it. There's a scene with this car in it, set to the song that Phil Collins did in the air tonight. One of the greatest suspense-building scenes in TV history, in my humble opinion. It's pretty awesome, and it definitely features this car throughout the entire scene. Next to it here we have a screen-used Tom Selleck-driven 1979 Ferrari 308 GTS, which I heard Tom Selleck was too big to drive, so they had to make some modifications to the car, and in most shots the sunroof is open to help him fit into the car. Next up here is a 1936 Auburn Boattail Speedster. This was driven by Madonna in the movie Dick Tracy, screen-used vehicle. Pretty cool. Next we have the 55 Porsche Spider replica. This is modeled to represent the car that James Dean was famous for driving, and unfortunately the car that James Dean was tragically killed in. There was only like 90 of these cars produced in 1955. There's not many of them left. A real 1955 Spider would probably be worth millions of dollars. They only weighed about 1,200 pounds, so they were pretty lightweight and pretty fast. Moving right along here, it's a 96 Hummer that was a prize for a Taco Bell Star Wars sweepstakes thing. Kind of fun. And a 64 Volvo used in the British TV show The Saint, just before Roger Moore became 007. I believe Moore liked this car so much, though, from the show that he actually bought it after they were done filming the show. And here is the Monkeymobile, the car the Monkees made famous, of course. It was built to kind of mimic the 1967 Pontiac GTO, or at least part of it at some point. It features a fake blower motor and some nice fake side pipes there. I do believe this is a replica, though. Coming up here on one of the stunt vans from the A-Team, an 83 GMC, I believe. One of the most iconic vans out there in my humble opinion. This is one of only 2 stunt vans that remain. Coming up here is Mr. Bean's Green Mini. Supposedly this is a screen-used vehicle too, in one of my all-time Mr. Bean episodes. If that's true, I'm absolutely blown away that they have this car. This car here is a 1978 Austin Morris Mini. That van in the corner there was used in Spider-Man Homecoming. And they have 2 kit cars from the TV show Knight Rider, one of which was an actual George Barris screen-used vehicle too. This first one here I believe actually belonged to David Hasselhoff, but was not actually used on the show, just used for promotional stuff. The red one there was used in the Knight Rider movie remake. I think it was Knight Rider 2000. And this one here was used on the show. And a couple of cars with Arnold Schwarzenegger connections here. One of the taxis from Total Recall. And then over here we have a limousine that was used in Terminator 3. This is kind of fun. You can look at the bullet holes here and then line them up with the movie. They line up pretty good, just for fun. Alright, here we have a 1959 Cadillac Ambulance, or hearse, an Ecto 1 build. I guess this is supposedly one of 4 exact movie replicas that exist today. But alas, it is not a screen-used vehicle, but still, one of the most accurate movie replicas I've ever seen. Okay, moving right along here. Here's one of the Jeeps that was used in the 80s TV show Fantasy Island. Okay, this next car I was completely blown away by. I thought this car had gone missing, but apparently it was just hiding out. The story goes that somebody was set to restore it a while back, but passed away, and then the car was just kind of left. And Dezerland acquired it from a private collection, and they finished the restoration of this screen-used 1948 Ford Deluxe convertible. Mind blown. Next to it here we have a 1964 Lincoln Continental that was used in a couple of Inspector Gadget movies. This next one kind of blew me away too. The original car used in the TV show, the Munsters. This is the George Barris original, the only one used. This is it. Apparently Barris made a few updates to it in later years so it could kind of tour around. But this is the car. It was made out of 3 1927 Model Ts, a hearse, and parts of a coffin. It has a 289 Cobra engine, bored out to 425 cubic inch, and it has 10 chrome Carter carburetors. And it's a 4-speed. This car is something special right here. Then, of course, if you know the story, Herman lost his car and Grandpa had to design and build a Dragula vehicle to race to get it back. This is not the screen-used Dragula vehicle, though. This was built off of a 1923 Ford T-Bucket and was built by the same builder that George Barris worked with, Dick Dean. And apparently Dick made this car as a tribute to his other Dragula vehicles. And it's a functioning drag car too. Okay, here is the 1974 Ford Torino made famous in the TV series Starsky and Hutch. I'm not sure if this car was used in the TV show. The sign here makes me believe that it was, which would be incredible. There were only 7 cars made for the show if I'm not wrong. Though I do think this car was used in the movie remake with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson though, which I don't think they were able to get a hold of any of the original cars from the TV show to use in the new movie. But I don't know. Either way, this is a rare, amazing car. If you know anything else about this car, if it's one of the original striped tomatoes, leave a comment below. That'd be amazing. Couple of Ford Tauruses, I think, from the RoboCop movies. A 1948 Dodge Taxi from the movie Benjamin Button. And of course, one of the first replica time machines that was ever built, very screen accurate, a 1981 DeLorean. And here we have a couple of screen-used vehicles from the Indiana Jones movies. This is kind of cool. I did this just for fun. If I zoom in here on the upper right corner here, you can see a little chip in the paint there. And if you go back to the shot of Harrison Ford driving, you can actually see the same little mark there. That's kind of cool. This was from the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Then they have a motorcycle with the sidecar, which I was hoping was the one used with Sean Connery, but it's different. This one was used in the first movie during a chase scene. Then this vehicle right here, made to look like a BMW from Germany, was used in the same chase scene. I also heard that this vehicle was used in the movie Top Secret. This vehicle was used as a gag as it barely rear-ends a Ford Pinto and explodes, which was a play on some bad press that Ford was getting for the Ford Pinto at the time. Pretty cool that that was this car too, and you can actually see some of the burn damage on the car. Here we have a rare 1909 Renault Type BH from Shanghai Knights. I've never seen one of these before. Alrighty, I whisked us away to a 1962 Ford Anglia screen-used vehicle from Harry Potter. These cars were manufactured in the UK in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Pretty cool to see one of these cars in the US actually. Just a cool, unique classic car. Okay, they had some more cars hidden back in this room here. This is a Tucker 48 replica for the movie Tucker, A Man in His Dream. Still super cool to see, even though it's like a movie prop replica, because you just don't see these cars anywhere. There were only like 50 Tucker 48s ever produced, so they're super valuable today. When they do go for auction, they go from like 1 to 2 million. They had a 335 flat 6 engine in the back, which I think started as an aircraft engine that they then heavily modified to make it work. Another cool thing about these cars was that the headlight in the front there actually turned with the steering wheel. I'm gonna have to watch this movie again. It's been a while. There's a blue Whoville car there, used in the Grinch movie, and then a black Beauty Green Hornet car used in the original Green Hornet TV series. This is another George Barris car. Dean Jeffries also helped build this one too. Super cool. It's a 1965 Imperial Crown. Just think, Bruce Lee probably drove this car. That is crazy. Here's a Christine replica car. This one here is a 59 Plymouth Fury. The original Christine was a 58, and I believe it's in a Rochester Auto Museum in New York. Still cool to see a 59 Plymouth Fury though. I like how they put the green light in there for effect. It's a nice touch. Coming back to this 74 Ford Falcon Interceptor, used in the first 2 Mad Max films. I was just so surprised to see this car. I had no idea it was even still around. Just think of all the cars inspired by the Mad Max movies. I mean, every time you see a cool custom rat rod out there, somebody's always going to say, looks like something out of a Mad Max movie. This car right here started all of that, and it's just sitting here. Insane. Just think of a young Mel Gibson starring in his first big role behind the wheel of this car. It's crazy. Okay, we're now heading into Gotham City's police department, and it appears that they have an impound lot for Batmobiles. The world's greatest detectives car collection, the Batmobiles. Look at this. It's pretty impressive to walk into a room full of Batmobiles. This first one here was built by the studio for the 1989 Batman movie. I believe it was a promotional car though. They built this car to basically be an airplane on the ground. It's an amazing piece of work. Look at the gauges in this thing. Looks like an airplane cockpit. Of course, this one was supposedly propelled by a jet engine. Not sure how long it takes the newer models to get the atomic batteries to power or the turbines to speed. The one on the left there is a DC licensed movie replica car from the 1969 Batman movie. Catwoman sitting on top of the Batcave. I think, and was led to believe, that this is one of the original Batmobiles created by George Barris Customs for the 1966 TV show. I found an article that said this was the number 3 car, but I've also seen videos that say this is the number 1 car. Now I know that the original Batmobile, made out of the 1955 Futura, is in a car museum in Gatlinburg. So that would mean that this car would be one of the 3 replicas that George Barris built out of the original Futura Batmobile. If that's true, this car would have been created by taking a mold of the original 55 Futura Batmobile, which was all steel of course, then recreating it in fiberglass. I was not expecting to see one of the original Batmobiles here. It was actually signed by George Barris too. Looks all legit. This is one of the coolest cars in the building for sure. And this Batmobile here is a replica of the Batman Forever car, the one with Val Kilmer. Museum put some pretty cool lighting effects in there to show it off. The wing on this thing out the back is ridiculous. Apparently, it was a callback to the original Batmobile from the comics though, so that's kind of cool. Of course, no collection is complete without a Bat boat replica. Hopefully it comes equipped with shark repellent bat spray, always good to have on hand. And here they have not one, but the only 2 remaining Bat bikes. This one I believe was used for promotional purposes, and the other one you'll see in a bit was actually used on the show. This one actually has a handbrake and a throttle, so this one was the screen-used vehicle. The other one did not. Poor Robin. Doesn't even get his own motorcycle. This one here is from the 1992 Batman Returns film. I do believe this one was screen used. This model of the Batmobile I think still remains a fan favorite. The design of this thing is just amazing. It's kind of a cross between a bat, a jet airplane, and a car. They even have a replica, or maybe it was screen used, I'm not sure, but the part of the Batmobile that kind of squeezed itself through a narrow alleyway, this was that car here. I think it was screen used. I'm not sure what this Batmobile is from here. If you know, leave a comment. But that about wraps up the Gotham City PD's collection of Batmobiles. Well, that about wraps up this episode of Matt's Rad Show. If you enjoyed this episode, please do give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more car adventures. If you haven't seen my previous episode on some of the classic American cars in this amazing collection, please go give that a watch too. I think you'll enjoy it. And as always, thanks for watching. I'm going to travel on down the road now. We'll check you later. Okay, bye.